Are ya ready, kids? It's more cringy than I expected it to be. Anyway, Uchiha Stone Tablet here, back at it again with more YouTube when I can, because I gotta get on that grind. Anyway, this is the first video in my versus battle discussion debate thing series. For those of you who have never heard those words before, in this series, I will just, get two, sometimes more characters, bare minimum of two, pin them against each other, and then go over their abilities, techniques, etc., and see who would win in a fight. Now, of course, this is opinion-based, so you are welcome to disagree with my final results, and if you agree or disagree, you can leave a comment down there, and I'll see, maybe I overlooked something. Anyway, although I do want to point out, I'm kind of an expert on both of these guys. I mean, I make videos about Goku and whatnot. I've been watching SpongeBob basically since I was born. I mean, 97, that's pretty much my whole life up until this point. And it's still going on, so more feats could come out in the coming weeks for SpongeBob. As for Goku. But we're going by, current Goku is, Universe Survival. I'm going with Canon, but I'll give him Super Saiyan 4. We'll get there when we get there. And, just, current SpongeBob, pretty much. I mean, all of his best feats that are consistent, and SpongeBob is very consistently written, so that's going to be easy. Anyway, that was a small clap. I'll just go over Goku first, and then I'll go over SpongeBob, and then I'll tell you who I think wins. Excuse me. Anyway, Goku, he is a pure-blooded Saiyan warrior, born with a power level of 2. Wasn't very strong, so they sent him to Earth to wipe it out, because Earth people are like, adults are like power level 5, so they thought, he'll grow up and handle it. Anyway, so Goku conveniently hits his head and forgets his plan or his orders, and then is raised by his adopted grandfather and learns martial arts. So Goku is a martial arts genius. He can perform many types of martial arts, including those from the other world, probably after he died, but still there. So his martial arts skills are pretty much relatively unmatched. Maybe like 10 people have better martial arts than him in his world, maybe. It's hard to gauge, because power is also a part of that. Anyway, he has techniques, ki-based techniques, that make him fly, run fast, read minds, or some weird stuff that he only uses when the plot needs him to. Then he has normal stuff like flying. He has the Kamehameha, which is his signature technique. With the Kamehameha, he cups his hands, shoots out a ray or a wave of ki that can be powerful enough to even destroy planets or maybe even bigger stellar objects and whatnot, depending on, what form he's in and what part of the story he's in. So we've got, we got the Spirit Bomb, something he learned from King Kai when he died. He can gather all the positive energy from life itself that is near him, and sometimes farther if he's really desperate or gets help. And then he can use it to erase negative energy. Now you have to remember, if you have a pure heart, Spirit Bomb isn't going to hurt you. If anything, you could probably just snatch it and then beat them with it, if they also, but they probably would have a pure heart anyway, so scratch that. Anyway, while on King Kai's planet, he also learned the Kaioken, and uses it to amplify his ki for a heartbeat. So for pretty much a snap of the fingers, he can double his power for a short boost. And he can make the multiplier higher, but at a higher risk of his own body. And if he does it too high, he could kill himself. However, he doesn't rely on these techniques anymore ever since he goes Super Saiyan, but we'll touch on that in a minute. He also has techniques that he stole from Tien, the Taioken or the Solar Flare, which just shoots out blinding light. He also stole the Kianzan from Krillin, the Destructo Disc. It can cut through anything and everything, minus the filler where it didn't cut through Cell. But that's filler. It would have cut through him if Toriyama had anything to say about that, which he probably didn't. As well as many other techniques that he can use, whatever. Goku, when he fought Frieza, he awakened Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan, his hair turns blonde and spiky. His eyes turn like a bluish green color. He buffs up a little bit and he gets 50 times higher power level right there. Now it is kind of hard to tell how it affects his stats because it is really inconsistent, but not linearly. That's pretty much all I can say. I'm no math expert, so I'm not going to sit here and try and figure that out. You can ask Screw Attack for that, but something tells me you don't want to do that. After unlocking Super Saiyan and having a few others unlock Super Saiyan, they realize, hey, we could probably go even higher. So they do. They unlock a Super Saiyan Grade 2, which is like a bigger, buffer form of Super Saiyan, higher multiplier to an unknown degree, um, more, destructive capability and speed, all that. But it probably is a bit more draining. It's never directly stated, but, probably. Then there's Super Saiyan Grade 3, which is super big and super strong, but your muscles get so big that you end up being slower than you were even as a normal Super Saiyan. So it's pretty much a dead transformation. Then there was Super Saiyan Grade 4, or what most fans dub as a MSSJ Mastered Super Saiyan, or Full Power Super Saiyan. In this, it's like the perfect Super Saiyan form. They can use all their power, and it doesn't drain any stamina or energy at all. That comes from a lot of training in Super Saiyan form, and it needs a calm mind and all that. And this is pretty good, but then Goku, or Gohan first, unlocked Super Saiyan 2, which was originally like Super Saiyan Grade 5, I think, but that's stupid. It's Super Saiyan 2, it's twice as strong as a normal Super Saiyan, or 100 times a base Saiyan. Excuse me about that, I think I audio peaked. And with that crazy speed and power, but it does have somewhat significant energy drain to an unknown degree, but it's obviously more than even a first-time Super Saiyan who doesn't know how to control it very well. Then, when Goku was dead after unlocking Super Saiyan 2, he was the first and only person unfused to use the Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan 3 is super powerful. His hair stretches all the way down to his butt, probably. Very long hair. Crazy amounts of electricity, more so than Super Saiyan 2 even had. And it is 4 times stronger than the Super Saiyan 2, or 400 times base, which is a lot of power. But this one is so powerful that it takes him forever to get to that form, and it's very stamina heavy, where when Goku was alive, before he was able to charge up to his full power, he transformed back to base because his body couldn't handle it. So it is very powerful, but you can only really use it for short periods of time, and not likely at full power. Although, in Battle of Gods, Goku seemed to lessen this risk, so that way he could maintain it for a little longer and get to full power faster. But that's most likely conjecture. I don't really want to put any false opinions out there. So then, Goku becomes a Super Saiyan God. It's really strong. Now, there are multipliers thrown around. No one really knows how strong it is. I have my own multiplier, but I won't be going over that too much in this because that's probably going to be a separate video altogether. Super Saiyan God, instead of buffing up, the opposite happens. It actually slims him down quite a bit, gives him crimson hair and red eyes, as well as a fiery aura that cannot be sensed by mortals. At this point, he was able to go toe-to-toe with a somewhat suppressed Beerus, who is the god of destruction who could destroy the whole universe. And even during that fight, their fists clashing was a threat to the universe. It could have been erased, which is very powerful, of course. After that, the god form runs out eventually, even though it still retains some of his strength for a while. But then that, also for debate, goes away. He trains with Whis and Vegeta for a while, Whis being Beerus' mentor, of course, and then they can learn how to use God Ki pretty much whenever they want, and even unlock a form beyond that called Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Blue. And in this, it's basically them going Super Saiyan, but with blue hair and blue aura. And this requires, a calm mind. And here's where the differences occur. I'll be nice and use the anime version, although in my personal opinion the manga is more canon, but that's a whole other video again. So basically, in the anime, it requires a calm mind and perfect ki control, so that way no energy leaks out them whatsoever, so they have perfect stamina, perfect ki, all that. And it's a little stronger than a Super Saiyan God. In this, he was able to fight people such as Hit, who can effectively, in layman's terms, because I don't want to go into an L explanation, stop time for a short period of time and beat people up in frozen time. Goku then does something very interesting, which again, I'm only using just to make it more fair for Goku, because SpongeBob is very strong. Goku can add Kaioken onto Super Saiyan Blue because his ki control in Super Saiyan Blue is so perfect. And as we know, Kaioken doubles his power minimum. But because his ki control is so perfect, he was able to bring it up to times 10 for a short period of time and fight Hit. Although Goku still ended up throwing the match because he didn't have a way to beat Hit. Although it was a little different in the manga, but again, I'll just ignore that for now. So anyway, Goku can go up to 10 times stronger than his Super Saiyan Blue form. And his Super Saiyan Blue form can even compete with other gods, such as Goku Black, who is just a god inside of Goku's body that also had a similar transformation, but it was pink. That's a whole other thing. I'm not going to talk about that. Anyway, Goku's pretty strong. I mean, even via scaling, he's like really close to universal on his own. He can probably, with Kaioken, if we assume it does multiply his power normally, he could destroy a universe most likely with a Kamehameha or something like that. And he's crazy fast too. I mean, what? His base form is like, I don't have the stats on me, but off the top of my head, like his base form should be MHS or something. Same with Super Saiyan 1, but even higher. MHS Plus. Super Saiyan 2, this is all via scaling, pretty much. Is like, probably relativistic at this point. Super Saiyan 3, it's pretty easy to get that speed, because in the Buu Saga, he was supposed to be equal to a Super Saiyan Gotenks before they trained. And then they showed a speed feat of roughly 80 to 80-ish% the speed of light by circling the Earth about 6 times. And I think it takes a little longer to do that. And takes about 7 times or more to do that at light speed. So Super Saiyan 3 Goku with the Buu Saga was a decent bit below light speed in terms of travel, and you could argue his reactions were higher, but there's no proof for that, and that is kind of a big jump. But, you know, to each his own. We do know that Battle of Gods Saga Goku was a good amount stronger than his Buu Saga form by an unknown amount. And after he becomes a Super Saiyan God, he easily surpasses light speed. I mean, Whis with his staff can travel across the whole universe in, 30 minutes or something? That's, quintillions the speed of light or something like that? That's ridiculous. We don't really know how fast they are without the staff, because that's what he uses to travel around. So it's likely far lower, but even via scaling, it should be a couple 100,000 times the speed of light. Without the staff, because I don't think Whis has ever done anything without it. His physical punches, as we know, as a Super Saiyan God, they were sending energy throughout the universe and could possibly destroy it with Beerus. So, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 Goku should easily be universal with his punches, or I mean, at least like Multi-Galaxy Philo Ball, but because you could say, oh, well, that was just the energy outputting from their punches. That wasn't their punches themselves, which, science, I don't really know how it works there, but that could be used for debate, but I doubt it, to be honest. You could argue this, that, and the other, and I don't want to get into that debate right now. So, we've gone over Goku's techniques and all that. Let's go over everyone's favorite fry cook and talking sea sponge, SpongeBob SquarePants. Alright, so, SpongeBob SquarePants, he's a fry cook that lives in a pineapple under the sea. Everyone knows this. He works the Krusty Krab. A few things you may not know, but we'll get into those later. SpongeBob, even as early in the series, Season 1, he learned karate from Sandy. Sandy, of course, is a black belt, and at some point she became a blacker belt, which is like the secret ultimate karate master, as well as SpongeBob too. I think I'll have to rewatch the episode. That is a more recent episode, but so SpongeBob is a karate master, not only a master of karate, but also of karate, and that is a martial art that only SpongeBob, Sandy, maybe Patrick, and maybe Squidward knows, because I think Squidward and Patrick only know normal karate and not karate, but again, that's up for debate. With his karate, he could, Patrick was cutting through, like, cinder blocks and, old rusted boats with ease, and SpongeBob can, take those easily. SpongeBob also has insane regeneration. You can come back from pretty much anything, from pieces, from liquid, pretty much anything. The list goes on. They can always come back from those attacks. SpongeBob is also pretty fast. I mean, he's so fast that he could travel different parts of the ocean, and of course being underwater would slow someone down in like, picoseconds? Really fast. I mean, he can also break the fourth wall. He has like reality bending. Like, he even used the bubble transition that changes scenes to get from one place to the other, so he can basically teleport. He also is a genius, believe it or not. I mean, he knew where the secret entrance was to the Krusty Krab, even though it's so hard to find. It's a secret entrance. His only weakness, I don't know, he's very kind-hearted, but that could also work for him, and I'll explain that later. He's, only monsters really scare him, so like, winged beasts that could destroy the whole city of Bikini Bottom, things like that. He's fought people like Plankton, even a giant robot version of himself in SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, which, for all intents and purposes, is canon. I mean, I 100% that game. It better be canon. He also was able to, with the power of music, just defeat an army of mind-controlled Chumbucket customers, as well as King Neptune himself, who was the king of the ocean. I mean, he beat him no problem. SpongeBob has also shown omnipresence and potentially omnipotence, where he could not only turn himself into a skyscraper and create 1 million of him, just through willpower alone. He just did it. So you could argue maybe it's nigh omnipotence, but I would go so far as to say he's omnipotent pretty much. I mean, he can do pretty much anything. He's probably in the league of maybe characters like Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny has author-level powers. So you may think, oh, SpongeBob can't compare to that, but actually he kind of can. In the second SpongeBob theatrical release, Sponge Out of Water, there is a magic book that controls reality itself. So he's the author of real life, not even the author because he could use the book. So not only, it's just beyond author power, it's real life power. He's the author of real life, but he's also the author of himself. That's like fourth wall break in a fourth wall break. It's Deadpool. It's Deadpool the movie, and you just can't beat that, honestly. He's just really powerful. But so is Goku. So, with all that out of the way, I mean, I don't even need to mention SpongeBob's jellyfishing and bubble blowing skills. I mean, because that'd be overkill. Let's just go to the final results and see who wins. So after calculating the results, I have deducted that SpongeBob would win in a surprisingly easy fight, honestly. I mean, Goku is relatively carefree, and if he thinks SpongeBob is strong enough to fight him, he'll go all out. But in the end of the day, it's not really going to matter. He's nowhere near as fast as SpongeBob, especially if they were underwater, which I'm not giving a specific battlefield for this fight, but if they were underwater, Goku would be heavily slow. He can't breathe underwater. But if they're out of water, then SpongeBob just has CGI powers, and that's when he could use the book. So it's either Goku drowns underwater, or SpongeBob can use the book, which he'll have anyway. And just erase Goku by crossing out his name or something. Like the Death Note, but with no limits. And I didn't even bring up, the magic pencil that also works underwater. SpongeBob can create another himself. That also can pretty much create anything. He has the power to create life itself, albeit a bit disfigured. What else? SpongeBob can also buff up as well as Goku, but his speed does not drop like a grade 3 Super Saiyan. In fact, he gets so strong, his pants rip off. He has ripped his pants several times in the series with virtually no physical backlash, other than like, oh, how his pants fell off. But when he fought against Patrick, who is roughly his equal, both of their pants came off at the same time. He even changed Patrick's name. Like, names are legal. He changed the law just by erasing his name. That is ridiculous. So, in the end of the day, if Goku went Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, if he brought it up to times 20, which he has done against Frieza, let's say he does that here, he might be able to Goku at Kaioken times 20 Super Saiyan Blue, hell, times 100, he might be able to understand SpongeBob's existence at best. But that is a massive highball. We don't really know. I mean, Kamehameha, like, destroy a universe, like, SpongeBob can create a universe. Just by writing it in the book, he can erase Goku's energy, he can take out his lungs. He can beat him in karate. Like, SpongeBob is just a blacker belt. Goku, what is his belt? He's got a blue belt around him. Like, that's not gonna settle it. Of course, I will leave links to the feats of this fight, because I know some people may think I'm crazy. But, no, to each their own, I guess. So the links down below for all the feats that I gave for SpongeBob. For Goku, I mean, I've made a video about his speed and all that, so if you don't believe he's that fast or you think he's faster, I made a video on that, except I didn't really mention his god forms. I will do a multiplier video on that eventually, but anyway, winner is SpongeBob. Thank you guys for watching. If you agree or disagree, comment down below. If you like my versus battles, this one's a bit of a beta test. It's not as good as it could be, because again, SpongeBob doesn't really have a scan. He's a television series, not a manga, which is a bit harder to get evidence for him. Trust me, his links will be down there. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I think I said this already. Excuse me, I'm not feeling well right now. Hope you had a great April 1st. I do have things to do, so I'll just go to that. My next versus battle will be coming before I die, I promise. I will not die until I make the next versus battle, or the next video in general. Anyway, guys, make sure to, bye.